Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Maria Altman. If you're looking for new restaurants to try over the next few weeks, our friends from Sauce Magazine have you covered in this month's hit list. Joining me to talk about the latest openings in the region are Sauce Magazine art director Meera Nagarajan. I think I'm saying that wrong.
Nagarajan.
Nagarajan. I was close, but not quite. And staff writer Matt Sorrell.
Howdy.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming. So let's start with a car. And am I saying that?
Yes,
correctly?
As far as I know.
It's the latest venture from Bernie Lee, who closed his restaurant on Washington Avenue pretty recently.
Yeah, he just closed actually in May and then turned right around and opened up a car. And for those of you who don't know, it's on Wydown, right there at the corner of Wydown and Hanley. So that little nook that's kind of right there in the corner. And it's a really cool little place. The name is actually Malaysian for root. So it kind of harkens to his roots in cuisine and culture. Really nice place, small, very extensive wine list, good cocktails. Only seats about 12 inside, maybe about twice that outside. It's got one of those nice little, secluded Clayton patios, and just really, really great food. Kind of the stuff he's always wanted to do and hasn't always had the chance to do.
And he grew up in St. Louis, so. Is that correct? With sort of a roots in both?
He does have roots in both. I don't know if I can't remember if Bernie actually grew up in St. Louis, but he's been here for a long time.
He grew up in Malaysia. So I think he was born in China, grew up in Malaysia, and then came to St. Louis for college, I believe.
Okay. All right. Bemiston Cocktail Club in Clayton, another sort of great drinks place, it sounds like.
Yeah. So they opened up on May 8th. They're at 16 South Bemiston Avenue, and they took over the extra brute space that used to be there. So they're next door to Louis Wine Dive, which I believe runs Bemiston Cocktail Bar as well. And if you've ever been to Extra Brute, they had this long, kind of dimly lit hallway before you get into the bar. So it's kind of like this mysterious entryway. And when you get to the end of the hallway, the entry to the bar is right there. And inside the space is really beautiful. It's like exposed brick. It's kind of cozy. And we really like that the menu is pretty affordable. The menu features classic cocktails for $9, like an old-fashioned or a daiquiri. And then the house cocktails are priced at $10. And we actually tried their house old-fashioned, Matt and I did. Mm-hmm. And we really liked that. And they also have snacks like nuts and tater tots and onion rings. So they're open from 5 to midnight, and it's kind of a good spot to go before or after dinner, like for a nightcap or something like that. And I think that space is super fun. It's like a kind of casual, cool space. It's
very much like a neighborhood bar. It's a limited menu. It's just kind of a place to go and hang out. A little bit unusual in that particular neighborhood where things tend to be a little bit more upper echelon, higher end. It's just a nice place to go and just hang out.
I think I read that there is even a cocktail for $5, which is unusual. The Bemmy?
Yes. So the Bemmy is actually shot in a beer. So it is a can of Old Milwaukee and a shot of their house blend whiskey.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
Next up, Shaquan Wonton.
Yeah, Shaquan Wonton. It's they just opened up in the Loop, and it's for those of you who are familiar with Chinese Noodle Cafe, that's the space that they took over at 6138 Delmar. They're directly across the street from the pageant. And people loved that place, and so we were kind of sad when they decided to close. But they sold the space to Shaquan Wonton, and it's the second location for this Champaign, Illinois restaurant. And they specialize in Southern Chinese cuisine, and they have a bunch of wontons on their menu. And of the wontons that they offer, we tried their spicy and mouth-numbing pork wontons, which, I guess in the Sichuan province, they are known for a really spicy food. Yeah. So we tried it's basically like a pork dumpling, and it came in a spicy sour soup. And we also liked their mapo tofu, which is a good vegetarian option, I believe. The tofu was super silky and soft, and it comes in this bright red, spicy, and super flavorful, like garlicky sauce. And we also tried their eggplant with fish sauce, which was big chunks of eggplant in a garlicky, spicy sauce, and it had this like funky finish from the fish sauce that was in it. So they have a pretty big menu. We're excited to try more, but of the things that we tried, we really liked it.
Sounds like a really interesting new place.
Yeah, and dumplings are like one of my things. I mean, you can't go wrong with dumplings, and
Right.
they have really good ones. And I really like Szechuan stuff anyway because I like the mouth numbing. I like the heat. Yeah,
Not everybody does, but
it's
for
not
those
everybody's
who
thing
do.
for sure.
Next up is AO and Co.
Okay, so I'm super excited about this place. They opened on June 6th. They're at 1641 Tower Grove Avenue. So they're at the intersection of Tower Grove and McCree.
which is quite a restaurant
That is the
haven.
place
right
now.
It's
Yeah.
so bustling. I mean, so Ben Parumba, who also owns Elia and Olio, also in the same neighborhood, and Neeksta, which is just down the way, and the Benevolent King, which is in Maplewood. So they're it's one part market, one part cigar shop, and one part coffee shop. So in the market, they've got these beautiful products. Like I saw jarred truffled white beans when we were in
Yeah.
there. And they've got like wines and cheeses, fresh flowers. Their like general manager will do flower arrangements and things.
Yeah, it's really eclectic.
Yeah, and then they also have some of the sister restaurants' products. So if you love Olio, for example, you can get their hummus and pita to go, or their egg salad, or the Neeksta salsa, or whatever. And they're also planning on having picnic baskets. So you can get a box with a handle, get all your goodies, put it in the box, and go to like Whitaker, or if you're going to go see a movie on Art Hill, it's kind of a good stop to make
Yeah.
to pack up your box. And then they've got 100 cigars in this little cigar room. So if you're into that, I mean, they have a lot to offer. And then they have a cafe where they have coffee and tea drinks. They're planning to offer food in the future, but for now they have pastries from Chouquette. And we tried, what was that tea? The
It was
Morest?
the turmeric one.
Oh, the turmeric one was amazing.
It was a gold tea, cold gold. It was just really, really great.
I've heard about like a sort of a turmeric
Mm-hmm.
latte.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it's their take on a turmeric latte, exactly. It's got like, I think it's got coconut oil, turmeric, and oat milk, steamed oat milk. It was sweet. It was a little earthy.
It's really pretty too.
Yeah, they put like this garnish on it where it's like half of it is garnished with some baking spice or something. It looks beautiful. But we also liked they had an iced tea. There was a jasmine mint tea with this almond syrup. So it had this floral, citrusy, beautiful, like, refreshing finish.
Sounds like a great place to try.
Yeah, it really is. They also have a little bit of outdoor seating, so if you want to take your coffee or your tea outside, you can do that too.
The last on our list is Beast. Am I saying this right? Beast Butcher and Block.
Yes, it's from the folks behind Beastcraft Barbecue over in Illinois. This is their foray into the St. Louis market, and so it's in the Grove on Manchester. And so you can get a lot of what they're famous for. They have really great pork steaks. They're really known for that. There's a couple of dishes that are transferring over also, like they have a Brussels sprouts served with pork belly that's really, really popular. That's going to be there. But it's also going to be part butcher shop, so you can go in there and get cuts of meat and whatnot and take it home and do it yourself.
Well, that's a really it's kind of a unique idea, a barbecue place where you can also take out and do it on your own.
Yeah, and Dave Sandusky, who's the one of the owners, he and his wife, he's a really well-regarded butcher, and he's very serious about where he sources his meat from. So everything is ethically and humanely raised, and it's a great place to go. And plus, the Grove really doesn't have any big barbecue options like that. In fact, that whole area really doesn't have a lot of barbecue. So it's a welcome addition.
Good location. All right. I should ask, what's the criteria for getting on the hit list each month?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, so many places open up every month, and so we go in and try them all anonymously, and we'll try like several dishes from each place. And I think the criteria really is like, is this a place we want to send somebody to go spend their time and money? Are there dishes that we tried that are truly memorable that we want to go back for? And that's kind of the guidelines that we go off of.
And this particular list, what do you think people absolutely just have to try? What's your number one?
I really like Bemiston. I'm a little biased because I do know some of the folks who work there, but I really like it. I think it's a standout in that neighborhood just because it is so unique. It is just a nice, chill, hangout place. You don't have to dress to the nines, and you don't have to spend a lot of money.
Meera, how about you?
For me, it's AO & Co. because I just love the shopping element of it. I love being able to run in after work and pick up a couple things, or if I'm having a party or going to some place, I can pick up something easily and show up with like a nice bottle of wine. So I think that's really fun. And it's a beautiful space too.
And not far from it, as I transition, Food Truck Friday in Tower Grove Park is now back. It's become quite the tradition in South City. What's new this year?
A little bit of everything. It's going to be our regular Food Truck Friday that everybody's known and love. A few more trucks, some different music that's coming up this year. But for fans who are used to it, it's going to be kind of more of the same and a little more.
Wonderful. And I think I should ask, were there any restaurants that we had any notable closings in this last month? And we've got about a minute and a half left. Anything that
Well, we have one that's a memorable one that's upcoming. It'll be actually this week. Reed's American Table in Maplewood, July 3rd. That's a Wednesday. That's going to be their last day of service. They just announced that last week. So sorry to see them go. We were all big fans of that restaurant for sure in the office.
Piccioni Pastry announced they're closing, but you have a little time to go in and still enjoy it. They're closing on September 22nd, and they're really best known for their pastries, especially their cannoli, which we will miss most. But
Very much.
The owner, Richard Nix, he has a catering service called Butler's Pantry, and Butler Boardroom will still have some of the pastries and offerings at Piccioni. So it's not gone forever for good.
That's good. Well, thanks so much, both Meera and Matt, for coming on and talking about your hit list. And it sounds like some great restaurant options for the next month and longer for people to check out.
Absolutely.
This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, saluting Earth Day on April 22nd with an ongoing commitment to help offset carbon emissions with sustainable harvesting of Missouri forests. Details at choosewood.com.
The Gateway brings you the day's news from the St. Louis region and across Missouri. It also includes stories from the Illinois side of the river and our Metro East reporter, Will Bauer.
In Alton, in Belleville, in East St. Louis, in Edwardsville, in Cahokia Heights, at Scott Air Force Base, I'm Will Bauer. St. Louis Public Radio.
Listen to reports from Will and all of our journalists weekdays on the Gateway, on the STLPR app, and wherever you get podcasts.